My doctor looked at my chart, leaned back in his chair, and smiled in a way doctors usually don't. He said, "Henry, I don't see numbers like this very often." Then he paused and added, "You have the health markers of a 50-year-old man." I laughed because I thought he was joking. I told him, "Doc, you might want to check the birth date again. I'm 87." He didn't laugh. He asked me what I was doing differently. I told him about my morning routine, not supplements, not expensive equipment, just habits, 5 of them at the time. He went quiet, grabbed a pen, and said, "I need to write this down." That was 6 months ago. Today, he tells me half his patients are trying the same routine. My name is Henry Caldwell. I live alone in a small house in Vermont. No nursing home, no live-in caregiver, no daily help. Just me, my quiet mornings, and the habits I do every single day before 8 a.m. Last summer, my neighbor's son came to visit from California. 42 years old, works in tech, runs marathons on the weekends, or at least he says he does. He asked if I wanted to go for a walk. We didn't rush, just an easy walk down the road and back. 20 minutes in, he started slowing down. His breathing got loud. His face turned red. I kept the same pace. I wasn't winded. I wasn't even tired. He stopped, bent over, and looked at me like I'd pulled off a magic trick. That moment stuck with me because it reminded me of something people don't like to hear. Aging doesn't decide your health. Habits do. Especially the ones you practice when your body is most vulnerable, right after you wake up. Those first 60 minutes in the morning quietly control everything that comes after. Get them wrong, and you spend the rest of the day chasing your energy, fighting stiffness, wondering why you're exhausted before noon. Get them right, and your body works with you instead of against you. I didn't always know this. 5 years ago, mornings were torture for me. My knees hurt before my feet even hit the floor. My back felt like rusted metal. I shuffled to the bathroom like every step might crack something important. My daughter tried not to say it directly, but I heard it anyway. Assisted living, safety, someone keeping an eye on me. I wasn't ready to disappear into that version of old age. So I did something simple. I started paying attention. I experimented. I tested small changes. And slowly, everything began to change. The first habit is the one most people get completely backward. They wake up and immediately reach for their phone. News alerts, emails, messages. Their brain goes from silence to chaos in seconds. I do the opposite. For the first 10 minutes after I wake up, I don't move. I don't sit up. I don't check the time. I lie still and breathe. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but inside your body, something important is happening. During sleep, your nervous system shifts into repair mode. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure drops. Your body fixes what yesterday wore down. When you jolt awake and start moving immediately, your body thinks something is wrong. Stress hormones spike. Cortisol floods your system. Do that every morning for years, and you train your body to live in constant emergency mode. That's why so many people feel tired before they even eat breakfast. I lie flat on my back, hands relaxed at my sides. I breathe in through my nose for 5 seconds, then out through my mouth for 5 seconds. Slow, controlled, 10 minutes every morning. By the time I sit up, my body has transitioned gently from sleep to wakefulness. No shock, no stress. My friend George laughed when I told him about this. 73 years old, former Marine, tough man. I convinced him to try it for 1 week. On the third day, he called me and said, "Henry, I don't know what you did, but my blood pressure dropped 15 points." His doctor couldn't explain it. I could. The second habit starts the moment my feet touch the floor. I don't stand up right away. I sit on the edge of my bed for 2 full minutes. My daughter hates this. She says, "Dad, why are you just sitting there?" What she doesn't see is what gravity is doing. After lying down all night, your blood pools in your core. Your legs are basically empty. Stand up too fast, and your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. That's why people get dizzy. That's why they fall. And falls are how independence ends. I'm not in a hurry to join that statistic. So I sit, I flex my feet, I point my toes forward and pull them back 10 times on each foot. My calf muscles start pumping blood upward, like priming an old engine before starting it. After 2 minutes, I stand up slowly. No dizziness, no wobble. Steady every time. There's a woman in my town named Martha, 81. Last winter, she rushed out of bed to answer the phone, got dizzy, fell, and broke her hip. She hasn't lived at home since. When I visited her last month, she squeezed my hand and said, "Henry, I should have listened to you." That sentence stays with me. The third habit is the one my doctor asked me to teach his patients. It takes 7 minutes, and it saved my back. Most people wake up stiff and blame their mattress or their age. They're wrong. Your spine compresses while you sleep. The discs between your vertebrae lose fluid overnight. In the morning, you're actually shorter than you were the night before. If you start moving before those discs rehydrate, you're grinding bone against bone. That's where morning back pain really comes from. So I lie back down with 2 pillows under my knees, creating a gentle bend in my legs. That tilt takes pressure off my lower back. Then I do nothing for 7 minutes. Those discs absorb fluid like sponges. By the time I stand, my spine is ready. No stiffness, no pain. My brother-in-law jumps out of bed every morning and bends over to touch his toes. He thinks he's stretching. He's actually damaging his spine. He complains about back pain constantly. Pills, appointments, excuses. He tried my way once and quit. That's the difference between knowledge and stubbornness. The fourth habit happens in the bathroom, and most people never think about it. When I sit on the toilet, I sit upright. I don't lean forward. Leaning forward puts constant pressure on the bladder and prostate. Do that every morning for decades, and you destroy your pelvic floor. I know men my age who can't go 2 hours without a bathroom. Their lives shrink because of a habit they never questioned. Sitting upright takes no extra time, costs nothing, and preserves control. Last year, my doctor told me my bladder function looked like someone decades younger. That's not luck. That's habit. And then there's the fifth habit, the one people always raise their eyebrows at. Before I eat anything, before coffee, I spend 3 minutes doing something most people associate with nighttime, not morning. I stand in my kitchen every morning, the quiet hum of the refrigerator filling the silence, and I place my right hand gently over my abdomen. I start massaging in slow, clockwise circles around my belly button, beginning lightly, gradually pressing deeper as my body wakes. This isn't just a casual movement. It's a deliberate ritual that signals my digestive system to start its day. Many people believe digestion begins the moment food touches the stomach. That's a mistake, especially for older adults. Your intestines need a signal, a conscious nudge, not caffeine or hurried meals. When you force your digestive system before it's ready, you set yourself up for bloating, constipation, heartburn, and acid reflux, ailments far too common in my age group. This simple abdominal massage serves 3 essential purposes. First, it stimulates peristalsis, the rhythmic, wave-like contractions that move food through your intestines. Without it, digestion slows, leaving discomfort and fatigue in its wake. Second, it boosts blood flow to digestive organs. Blood is the delivery system for oxygen, nutrients, and signaling chemicals. More blood means better function, plain and simple. Third, it releases trapped gas that can cause real pain overnight. I know it sounds awkward to talk about, but ignoring it isn't an option at 87. Prevention is far easier than dealing with discomfort later. I first learned this technique from a nurse who dedicated 30 years to caring for older adults. She told me that seniors who performed this simple massage routinely had roughly half the digestive complaints of those who didn't. That's a staggering difference. I've been doing it for 6 years now, and in all that time, I haven't had a single bout of heartburn. I haven't been constipated once. My digestive system runs like clockwork, quietly and reliably. It's a small victory, but at this stage of life, small victories matter. There's a man at my local senior center, Bill, 79 years old, juggling 4 medications for digestive issues, spending a fortune each month on prescriptions. When I showed him this simple massage, he stared at me like I'd lost my mind. 6 months later, I saw him again. 3 of his 4 medications were gone. His doctor couldn't explain it, but Bill did. He looked embarrassed and said, "Henry, I feel like an idiot for not listening sooner." That's the lesson here. Small actions done consistently compound over time. Don't wait. Start today, even if it feels silly at first. After finishing the abdominal massage, I move to the next habit that surprises most people. I step outside barefoot onto my back porch. Rain, shine, summer, winter, no exceptions. For exactly 5 minutes, I stand there, feeling the cold morning air against my feet. Neighbors glance through their windows, probably thinking I've completely lost it. But those 5 minutes of cold exposure do far more for my immune system than any supplement or vitamin I've ever tried. When your feet touch cold ground, brown fat, the kind that generates heat and burns calories, is activated. Your blood vessels constrict and then dilate, giving your cardiovascular system a gentle workout. At the same time, your body releases norepinephrine, a hormone that reduces inflammation, sharpens focus, and primes your mind for the day. Scientific studies have confirmed it. Regular cold exposure can reduce sick days by nearly 30%. I haven't had a cold in 4 years, not one. My immune system stays strong because I challenge it every single morning. Most elderly people do the opposite. They keep their homes at 78 degrees year-round. They wear 3 layers indoors. Their bodies never adapt to natural temperature fluctuations. Then winter comes, and the first virus that goes around knocks them down. I'm not advocating ice baths or extreme exposure. Just 5 minutes of cold air on your bare feet is sufficient. The first 30 seconds may feel uncomfortable. You'll want to retreat indoors immediately. Push through. By week 2, you'll notice your body tolerates the cold better. By month 2, you may even realize you haven't been sick in weeks. It's not magic, it's adaptation. After the cold exposure, I step back inside and move to the 7th habit, deceptively simple but profound. I make my bed immediately. Some dismiss this as trivial, but it's far from it. Admiral William McRaven gave a speech about making your bed each morning, saying it gives you a sense of accomplishment at the very start of the day. That's true, but there's more. Making your bed establishes order and discipline in small tasks, which naturally spills over into larger areas of life. A messy home often reflects a messy mind. I've watched seniors let their spaces spiral into chaos. Dishes piling up, laundry strewn everywhere, papers scattered across the floor. Why bother, they say. No one visits anymore. But disorder outside mirrors disorder inside. Maintaining even a small area of order, like your bed and kitchen, reinforces calm, mental clarity, and control over your life. In my building, there's Patricia, 73. Her apartment is perpetually chaotic, boxes stacked, clutter spilling into hallways. She's constantly stressed, always searching for lost items, always behind on chores. One day she asked me how I stay calm. I told her, start with one thing, make your bed. She rolled her eyes at first. 6 months later, her space is still a mess, and she's still stressed. Meanwhile, my apartment remains orderly, my mind clear, and my mornings predictable. Discipline in one small area compounds into discipline in others. It's a simple habit, but its effect is profound. Now, as I think back on all 7 habits, it's easier to see how they connect and why they matter. They are small, seemingly simple actions, but together they form a foundation that has kept me healthier than people 20 years younger. Let me walk through them again, slowly, so you understand the reasoning behind each one and why I never skip them, even on the mornings when I feel tired or the weather is gloomy. First, I drink a full glass of room temperature water the moment I wake up. It rehydrates my body, wakes up my organs gently, and reminds me that hydration is not just about quenching thirst, it's about giving my system the fuel it needs to function at its best. Second, I perform joint rotations for 8 minutes, carefully moving every major joint, shoulders, wrists, hips, knees, ankles. Every rotation primes my body, maintaining mobility and preventing stiffness that can cripple seniors who neglect this simple practice. Third, I practice gratitude for 2 minutes. I focus on the people I love, the experiences I've had, and the small joys of everyday life. It's like giving my mind a morning reset, protecting me from anxiety and depression that can so easily creep in at our age. Fourth, I maintain upright posture on the toilet. Most people don't realize how much pressure they put on their pelvic floor when they slouch. Over years, improper posture leads to bladder issues and reduced independence. Sitting upright may seem minor, but it protects core function for decades. Fifth, the abdominal massage I do for 3 minutes wakes up my digestive system and prevents chronic gut issues. Sixth, standing barefoot in the cold for 5 minutes challenges my immune system and keeps it sharp. And seventh, making my bed immediately establishes order, creating momentum and reinforcing discipline throughout the day. None of these habits require fancy equipment, expensive supplements, or complicated instructions. None take more than a few minutes, but when performed consistently, they compound over years into a life that's healthier, more mobile, and more energized than most people half my age. I've seen firsthand how neglecting these small actions can lead to struggles. Take my neighbor Martha, 81 last winter, who rushed out of bed to answer the phone, slipped, and broke her hip. She's been living in a facility ever since. Or Patricia in my building, 73, whose apartment is still a disaster and whose stress never seems to fade. Contrast that with my life. My space is orderly, my body is responsive, and my mind is calm. These habits are the difference between independence and reliance, between energy and fatigue, between confidence and anxiety. And it's not just physical. These morning rituals shape my mindset. They remind me that control is possible at every age, that the first hour of the day sets the tone for everything that follows. When you start the day with intention, your choices flow naturally. You eat better, you move better, you think better. Your environment reinforces your habits, and your habits reinforce your independence. Every minute invested in these rituals pays dividends for decades. I tell people all the time, health at 87 is not about genetics alone. It's not about luck. It's about the consistency of small, deliberate actions that respect your body, your mind, and your environment. The science backs it up. The blood flow, the spinal alignment, the cold exposure, the posture, the abdominal massage, all of it matters. But science alone doesn't motivate people. You have to feel the benefits. I feel them every morning, in the rhythm of my heartbeat, in the clarity of my thoughts, in the steadiness of my step. That's why I share these habits, not as a checklist, but as a guide to reclaiming control over your life, no matter your age. Each habit may seem simple on its own, almost trivial, but together they form a blueprint for vitality that has served me for years and continues to give me the energy and independence I cherish every single day. I still drive, I still travel, I still live independently. I'm not on 12 medications. I'm not shuffling around with a cane. I'm not sitting in a nursing home watching TV until the years pass me by. And neither will you if you start these habits today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. I don't care if you're 45 or 85. Your body still responds to stimulus. Your joints still move. Your mind still adapts. But you have to give it the right inputs. You have to stop following the crowd, stop doing what everyone else does, and start doing what actually works. Most people won't change. They'll watch this video, nod along, maybe even feel inspired for a moment, and then go right back to hitting snooze, rushing through their mornings, ignoring the first hour that defines their day. That's fine. Let them. You're different. You watch this far because something in you knows there's a better way. So prove it. Tomorrow morning, set your alarm 47 minutes earlier. Do these 7 habits in order. See how you feel. Then do it again. And again. Within 6 months, you'll be the one people turn to for advice. You'll be the one moving with ease while your peers struggle to get out of chairs, climbing stairs becomes a chore, and energy drains before breakfast even ends. Start tomorrow. Your future self is already counting on it. With every small action, your lymphatic system begins draining, circulation improves, and your body becomes more resilient. Studies show that people who do regular cold exposure have significantly lower rates of autoimmune disease and inflammation. I'm not telling you to freeze yourself. I'm telling you to adapt. Challenge your body just enough so it has to respond. That response keeps you young, alert, and capable. I remember last Christmas, my nephew came to visit. He's 38, lives in Florida, keeps his house at 76 degrees constantly. We went outside to gather firewood. It was 35 degrees. He lasted maybe 90 seconds before running back inside, shivering and complaining. I stayed outside for another 10 minutes. Perfectly comfortable. He looked at me like I'd grown an extra layer of skin overnight. Your body's broken, Uncle Henry, he joked. Mine isn't broken. Mine is trained. That's the difference. Here's where most people fail. They think these habits, hydration, joint rotations, gratitude, posture, abdominal massage, cold exposure, making the bed, are independent, unrelated actions that simply happen to occur in the morning. They're not. Each habit builds upon the previous one. The water hydrates tissues, so joint rotations move smoothly. Joint rotations increase circulation, so gratitude practice calms your nervous system more effectively. A calm, nervous system primes proper bathroom posture. Good posture sets up an effective abdominal massage. The massage prepares your body for cold exposure. Cold exposure trains mental toughness to maintain discipline throughout the day. It's a chain. Remove one link, and the system loses efficiency. I've tested it myself. One week, I skipped cold exposure to save a few minutes. Within 3 days, irritability set in, focus waned, and a scratchy throat turned into a minor cold, the first illness I'd had in years. The moment I returned to my routine, everything stabilized. It was undeniable proof that the system works and the body remembers. A cardiologist in Boston spent 15 years studying centenarians, people who live past 100. He found the healthiest individuals had morning routines, not the exact same routines, but structured habits, specific actions repeated in a consistent order. His conclusion? Longevity isn't genetics. It isn't luck. It's patterns. Patterns repeated so consistently that your body has no choice but to adapt, to thrive, to anticipate, and respond to each day. That's exactly what these habits have done for me. My body knows what to expect every morning. There's no guessing, no unnecessary stress, just preparation. And a prepared body is a resilient body. At 87, I take only 2 medications, both for blood pressure. My doctor says I might not even need them if I shed another 5 pounds. Compare that to the average American my age. 12 different prescriptions. Kitchen counters littered with pill bottles. Half of them forgotten, half of them unnecessary. I'm not special. I'm not genetically gifted. My parents both died in their early 70s. Heart disease runs in my family. By all conventional measures, I should be worse off than I am. But I'm not, because I chose differently. Every single morning for the past 5 years, I've made the same choice. I do the work. I follow the system. I trust the process. And my body has rewarded that consistency with health most people assume is impossible at my age. You can have this too, but only if you decide right now that you're willing to do what others won't. You have to be willing to stand barefoot in the cold while neighbors stare. You have to be willing to look strange to your family. You have to be willing to embrace these small, consistent actions, even when they feel awkward, even when no one understands. Because in 20 years, you'll be the one still moving, still independent, still vibrant, while others struggle in recliners, wondering where their energy went, where their life went, and wishing they had paid attention when they had the chance. This is where most people give up before they even begin. They underestimate the power of the first hour, the way small, intentional actions compound over time. But not you. You've already made it this far. You understand that each habit is a link in a chain, and breaking that chain breaks the system. Let me tell you why these seemingly small decisions matter so much. When I drink that first glass of water in the morning, I'm not just hydrating. I'm telling my body, today we work together. My tissues plump, my circulation wakes up, and my organs begin the gentle process of resetting after a night of rest. By the time I start joint rotations, my muscles, tendons, and ligaments are primed, lubricated, and ready to move. My body has learned over years to anticipate this rhythm. Even my mind relaxes during this process. Gratitude comes next, not because it's trendy, but because it literally changes the chemistry in your brain. 2 minutes of reflecting on what I value, who I love, the experiences I've been fortunate to live, reduces cortisol and sets a calm tone. It's a small investment for mental clarity that lasts all day. Then comes posture on the toilet. Most people ignore this, yet this simple alignment preserves independence, bladder control, and dignity over decades. Without it, the subtle damage accumulates, slowly stealing mobility and confidence. I learned this the hard way, watching friends fail, watching relatives struggle unnecessarily, watching people in their 70s and 80s lose freedom they could have preserved. The abdominal massage wakes the gut gently, preventing bloating, constipation, and digestive chaos that so often plague seniors. Standing barefoot in the cold, that's where the magic begins. Not the first day, not even the first week, but gradually, consistently, your body adapts. Immune resilience improves, circulation strengthens, brown fat generates heat naturally, and your nervous system learns to respond rather than overreact. It's training without a gym, without machines, without expensive supplements. Just you and your consistency. Making the bed is the final touch. It seems trivial, but it reinforces mental discipline. One neat bed in the morning translates into small victories throughout the day. You notice the difference when your space is ordered, when your surroundings are calm. You eat better because your environment isn't chaotic. You move better because you honor the system. It's the accumulation of small wins. I see neighbors struggle. They roll out of bed late, skip hydration, ignore movement, rush through mornings, and spend the day fatigued, cranky, and stressed. Their bodies fight them. Mine doesn't. Mine is a partner. My nephew, who visited last year, thought I was exaggerating when I told him these 7 steps make all the difference. By the end of his week here, he admitted that he'd slept better, had more energy, and felt lighter in both body and mind than he had in years. Small habits, big results. I am Henry Caldwell. I'm 87. I've chosen a path that's intentionally different. I could have followed the crowd, relied on pills, surrendered to the aches and declines that so often define our later years. But I didn't. Every day, every morning, I invest 47 minutes in myself. Not because it's glamorous, not because anyone is watching, but because I understand the compounding effect of consistency. That's why I can still drive across 3 states without fatigue. That's why I can hike, travel, and live independently without relying on caregivers. That's why my mind is sharp, my circulation strong, my body capable, and that's why you can do it too. Start today. Make the choice now. Stand barefoot, drink your water, rotate your joints, practice gratitude, align your posture, massage your abdomen, and make your bed. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. It's not time-consuming. But it is life-changing. Decades from now, you will be the one moving effortlessly, thriving independently, and inspiring others, while those who ignored these habits will wonder what went wrong. Your future self will thank you, your body will thank you, and most importantly, you'll have the health, vitality, and freedom that many think is impossible at 87, but that I know is entirely achievable.